Yes, peace, shalom, shalom. How's everybody doing? Just want to take this time now to sit there and address a particular subject, giving honor and praise to the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth. That subject right now is concerning from an Israelite to Israelites, concerning what is referred to as interracial dating. Now, let's first off understand that we're going to go scripturally and see what it says. All right, scriptural and wisdom. And I'll explain why I say that as we go on. The book of Tobit in the Apocrypha, chapter 4, verse 12. Now, for those who might say, oh, that's not in the Bible and so forth and so on. It actually was in the original text of what you call the Bible. For those who know the history concerning this kind of subject. This is why you find Bibles still with the book of Tobit within it. And here's what we read. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of your fathers. So if you belong to a people, that means you have an ancestry. Your ancestry is traced through your lineage of the fathers. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of your fathers. Meaning that you're supposed to take a wife of a certain caliber of the seed of your fathers. All of those things are given there are rules. And take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of your father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. So I want to sit there and let that be noted. Brothers and sisters, what we just read is in the book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 12. It speaks, if we read, against what you call, in modern terminologies, interracial dating. Now, therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine. So when it says this in verse 13, it says, despise not in your heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of your own people. When it says your brethren, it means your kinsfolk. You understand? So brethren in this case means both the males and the females. Because Akim in Hebrew means brothers, but it's using this in a pluralized sense or in the both gender sense of saying that you're people. And I can explain why I say that. Now, therefore, my son, love thy brethren and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people. Meaning that from your brethren comes the descendants of your people. Notice how many times it shows possession. Your, thy, thine, your, thy, thine. And not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction. Because when you're sitting up there doing interracial dating, that comes with much pride. Like, I'm above my people. I don't need to be around these niggers. That's basically what it's saying. And not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble. Brothers and sisters, look at O.J. Simpson, man. Much trouble. These people waited until the exact day that the man was acquitted to the date, X amount of years later, for him to also be found guilty and incarcerated. You understand? It said, for in pride is much trouble. He thought he was better than dealing with the black woman. He thought he was better than dealing with a sister. And what happened? He got into what? Much trouble. Look at Jack Johnson. He was known for knocking a bunch of white dudes out and whatever like that. So as he started sitting up there dealing with their women, much trouble. They have never, ever sat there and agreed with us dealing with their daughters and dealing with their women. Never. They'll work with you. They'll be around you. They'll be sociable. They seem to be concerned in certain cases. But as far as dating and as far as mating, that ain't going to happen. Not with their parents' blessing. And we see what our ancestors left on record, right? It says this, going back into it. Verse 13. Now therefore, my son, showing the possession, nationalism, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of your people. Because there's no way in the world you're going to be with a woman of another nation and still sit there and say that you love your people the exact same way. It's impossible. You just can't do that because it's not the same thing. All right? And not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. Because that's exactly how you wind up being left. In destruction and in want. Because they'll take you for everything that you got. All those sports players who thought they was up there making it with those women and everything like that, take it all, or half, or more than half. And you left out there like, oh no, what do I do? For lewdness is the mother of famine, because it is lewd to sit there and deal with women. That's not a sister. So let that be noted and understood. I like to go to Proverbs chapter 5, verse 15, if we will. The book of Proverbs. We are in the 5th chapter. We're going to start in the very 5th verse. Because a lot of times you have some people who lack understanding and they try to sit there and quote unquote present a case to try to basically show how much they don't like, love, or respect their own particular people. And it's usually only our black people who do that. You do not find even white people per se who are into what you call interracial dating that's sitting up there and trying to justify that to other people of their own particular race. There is no white female that's going to encourage the white male to date the black female. But you will find black females that will sit there and say, yeah, go ahead and deal with this one or the other one. We're the only people who do that. We are the only people in the world who sit there and encourage that. And we think that others who are about nationalism and who's not afraid of being called a racist are bad people. No, they know their ancestry and they know their people. We're the only people, brothers and sisters, who don't want to be brothers and sisters. All right, so now let's go into Proverbs chapter 5, verse 15. It says the following. Drink waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well, showing a possession. Thine own, both times in verse 15. Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, and rivers of waters in the streets. Let them be only thine own, and not strangers with thee. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of your youth. So it's talking about the woman, the wife of your youth. Rejoice with her. Don't be spreading everything out there for the strangers out there. Let her be the one to get everything that you have to sit there and share with her. You understand? It says, let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of your youth. The wife of your youth, if you're a man of color, is a woman of color. Because that sister is the one who understands you more than any other woman on the planet. She is the wife of your youth. Becky and Sue is not the wife of your youth. You understand? The black woman, she's the wife of your youth. Let her be as the loving hind and the great and the pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with her love. And why wilt thou, my son, showing a possession, my son again, right? And why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman, and embrace the bosom of a stranger? For the ways of man are before the eyes of the Most High, and he pondereth all his goings. His own iniquity shall take the wicked himself, and he shall be holden with the cords of his sins. He shall die without instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray. And that's exactly, brothers and sisters, to be able to show how it coincides with interracial dating. That's exactly the way they go. He shall die without instruction. Brothers and sisters, that's what happened with Don Cornelius. You understand? He thought good and well that that woman was just going to be the one for him. But that woman wound up not being the one for him. She was the nag to him. She was the one who was disrespectful to him. Our people have no business dealing with their women, man. Drink waters out of thine own cistern, and share not with strangers with thee. Get with your own. Let thy fountain be blessed, and have it with the wife of your youth. Becky and Sue was not with you when you was a little boy playing in the hood. Becky and Sue was not there with you when you grew up as a teenager. Becky and Sue was not there with you when dudes tried to sit there and rush you and jump you. It was the black female that was there through all of that. So we have to know and understand that even as liberal as quote unquote some black women try to say they are, they truly don't like in their heart seeing brothers dealing with women that's not black. Even though some of them might be on some, well, I'm not a racist, quote unquote, deep down, they like to see when a black man is with a black woman. They are not comfortable in their spirit when a brother crosses that line. The white man is not comfortable in his spirit when you are dealing with his woman. And as stated before in interracial dating, it is based upon what is fake. It is not based upon what is love. That black woman who is with the white man, he views you as his black woman, not as his woman. When you around your family and you all comfortable as the black woman with your white man, if you go among his family, you know it can't be in the same comfort. You know the energy in the spirit is totally different because we just work together, but I don't want this person inside of my home. So we understand, brothers and sisters, that there's a check and balance to each and every single type of thing. It doesn't make you a bad person. Me speaking as a brother in Hebrew, an Israelite, a so-called black man, if I were to sit there and see an Italian man with an Italian woman, that is a good thing. Why will I want to sit there and hate on an Italian man mating and being with his Italian woman so they can have strong Italian children? Why will I want to sit there and hate on those people as that? That's called wickedness, regardless of who the nation is. But we are the only people who want to sit there and think that it's okay and comfortable with us mixing with someone else, because we are the only ones on earth who sit there and hate on our own selves. There's a certain type of black man that white women date. That is the weak, the pantsy, the broken, the frustrated. The black woman is not a good type of woman, type of black man. That's the kind that she dates. She doesn't date the brother who knows how to sit there and reason and think and talk and has knowledge of history and linguistics and has a concern for his people, because she can't sit there and stand to sit there and hear certain racial subjects all the time, because at the end of the day, she never went into amnesia and forgot who she was. Even this white woman that's in the media now, Rachel Dolezal or whatever that lady's name is, she portrayed to be black for years. And as soon as she was asked about her ancestry, I refused. I can't talk, because she walked away from the camera. Because that whiteness began to kick up in her behind. She couldn't stand there and hear the understanding of her not being of her own people, though she was perpetrating a fraud. You understand? So this is part one. We're going to go into part two and part three, because this is a very intense subject that I would like to sit there and speak on. All right, bless. Shalom.